Hello friends, let us try to understand what is personality. Usually the answer would be that I'm hardworking, I'm sincere, or there are a number of traits I can identify in an individual, right? So if I look back in 1936, Allport and Oddboard came up with 4,500 terms in English dictionary which define the traits of an individual as far as the personality part is concerned. So here we are in a trouble when we start comparing people in the industry. How do I compare two individuals? What kind of a personality one has? How do I make it comparable with others? So a lot of effort was done by Paul Costa and Robert McCrae in 5 dimensions, which came to be known as 5-factor model. Now, what are those 5 factors that define one's personality? So the first one is extraversion, second is agreeableness, third is conscientiousness, fourth is neuroticism, and fifth is openness to experience. So the people who are high on extraversion, they are the ones who we can actually call party animals. They are high in energy, highly sociable, they are very talkative. And at the other end, that is people who are low on extraversion, we find people who are reserved, who would like to do some operational job. They don't want to be in the limelight. So in the extremes, we say that a person can be high on extroversion, we call them extroverts. People can be low on extraversion, we call them introverts. So usually we find that people who are high on agreeableness, they are soft natured, they are kind, they are very helping, and they'll take extra mile or walk an extra mile to help you out. At the other end, you have people who are not agreeable. So there are extremes in agreeableness also. So people who are not in the agreeable part, that is are low on agreeableness, will tend to question the status quo, would ask you questions. They will say, why not? Now people who are high on consciousness, you will find them highly structured. And the best example to understand is, well, go to their room unannounced, of course with permission, right? And you'll find that everything is absolutely at its place. So they are highly structured, they plan things out. They have got their own timetables. And at the other end, that is the opposite end of consciousness, that is low on consciousness, you will find things are absolutely in mess, unorganized. We'll take a call at the last moment. So the high people, the people who are high on consciousness, they tend to follow a particular structure. And in case structure is not there, they find themselves in a very, very bad situation. On the opposite side, the people who are low on consciousness, they're fine with the last minute orders. Now let us understand the dimension of neuroticism. Now neuroticism is something that has got a negative connotations. See, these people are high on nerves, so we call them neurotic people. They worry a lot, they think a lot, and at the end what happens is they might get into depressions. So we always say that we need the opposite kinds. So people who are high on neuroticism, they tend to be highly reactive, they are got a lot of negative thought process coming in. And when the people are low at neuroticism, we find them calm, cool, stable, and that's the kind of qualities that we tend to discover in these people. Now talking about openness to experience, there are some people who are not able to define it properly, whether it's a real dimension or not, but then this is one of the dimensions which has come up. And here the question is, are you curious kinds? Are you creative? Do you look for new opportunities? Can you take risk? So these are the thought processes that we talk about in openness to experience. So people who are open to experience, they are the ones who would like to try new things, while people who are at the lower end, they tend to be sticking to the traditional part, what has been going on. The other good points of this particular model is that I have got 5 broad dimensions to analyze people. You can have sub-themes into it further, highs and lows, and you can define them further. But these 5 broad dimensions help me to compare two individuals. So in an organization, that helps me a lot. Or broadly, we might say that it helps us in understanding individuals' personality in an organization. These days, a lot of companies are using this particular model, and they're trying to check the personality of an individual. At times they compare the traits identified in one-to-one interview and the traits identified by this psychometric test of 5-factor model. So any differences around can tell me whether the person is hiding something or not. Well, I think it helps a lot in understanding the personality now. Happy learning.